welcome to Inside of New England's Therapeutic Talk. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. I am Candace, and you're watching Inside of New England's Therapeutic Talk. I'm going to talk about Thanksgiving. Yesterday, I spoke with a social justice group at the high school, virtually, and showed a PowerPoint and talked about Indigenous people, Native Americans. I figured maybe why not just shoot a video sort of about what I talked about with the group and share that on the YouTube channel. So basically, because it sort of relates to Thanksgiving Day. Being Native American descent, this is Mary Boyd, my great-grandmother, who lived some of her life on the reservation. Her mother was raised there. The historical history behind the tribe is that they were a small tribe in Virginia, and Pocahontas's father and wanted to join all of the tribes in Virginia together to try to form a peace treaty with the colonists, the white people, so that they could have a peace treaty and try to work things out. Unfortunately, we all know that that story didn't end well. This is a photo of some of the information about the peace treaty. And also, like, I just want to throw this in there. I find it really interesting that it was associated with Pocahontas because the Disney movie and whatnot, but I encourage everybody, I'm going to try to find a link, the true story of what happened to Pocahontas, how she was tortured as well. I think it's important for people to see what happened with her. It wasn't like this happy love story. And neither was Thanksgiving, right? It wasn't a happy story. So a little bit about Native Americans. So I shared a little bit of that. There's a lot of natural things, like everything is, I like to describe it as the circle of life, right? So everything has a purpose. Everything, the trees, the, animals, everything has a purpose. So you use your resources, right? And wouldn't it be nice if we kind of lived this way now, right? Like no pharmaceutical companies. We use like some natural herbs from the ground, right? Or like teas and different things to help us heal, and be healthy and use our natural resources. Maybe our planet wouldn't be in so much trouble like it is if we were doing this. Just a thought I have. So moving on. So I did talk about like some specific things with the kids yesterday about that. I'm not going to totally go into all of that, but that's kind of like some of the foundation, what things that I find interesting about the culture. Also, like one really interesting main point, women had their own purpose. They were actually equal with men. So I don't want to totally go into all of this right now either. Maybe a different video about feminism, because being a Black woman, knowing that my ancestors, like both in Africa and the ones that were here, pretty much the women had their place, right? They had rights to things that we didn't get to sort of regain until 1920, right? Or something like that here in this country, which is totally absurd because the European women didn't really have rights. They were treated very, very badly, actually. And we actually were queens, and we had equal rights. A lot of the tribes, the Native American women, had equal rights to things. There was none of this stuff going on where there's not. If you watched a history of Pocahontas, like it was just really there's no such thing as like rape or any of that kind of stuff. Like all of this domestic violence and things that are going on weren't a part of our culture. That's not where we came from. That was brought to us. So I mean, I'm not trying to blame or insult anybody, but I'm gonna say what's true today, what's true to what I know from my knowledge and the research that I've done. And the fact is that the African culture and the culture and the Native American women were not treated with this disrespect. And unfortunately, being a black woman, it's very upsetting because I'm still being disrespected every single day of my life. And the feminist movement has not done a lot for me in this country. And so I'm still looking to get the respect that I had originally, that my ancestors had. So I just wanted to put that out there. So moving forward, that may be a whole nother video on feminism, and maybe I can get somebody else to join me to talk about that, because I think that that is something that a lot of our young girls need to know, that this isn't what we came from at all. And a quote from Malcolm X, being a woman, being a black woman, you're the most disrespected and the most unprotected. I believe that's how he said it. I might be quoting it wrong, but I think that that quote is very, very, very realistic to being a woman of color in this country, being unprotected and disrespected. Yes, definitely. So anyways, moving forward, women and having their rights. So a little bit of the funness of the fun that I find, the powwows are a lot of fun. I did get to go to a few before COVID. And I was telling the group, like, if, you know, when COVID is over, you know, I really recommend that everybody go to a powwow. They're a lot of fun. There's good food. There's, you know, entertainment. They're selling a lot of handmade crafts from the tribes, which are amazing. You know, it's amazing stuff. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork, you know, and things that you can use in your home. So that's a wonderful thing. And also, another thing that I did with the group was I did an activity, connecting the feelings of what it's like to really just lose everything, because that's exactly what happened to Indigenous people. They lost everything: their culture, their clothing, I mean, if you think about like movies and TV shows that you watch, and then it's just gone. It's gone. So I have like a little special way that I do this with groups, and to help to get that feeling of, you know, gee, like I'm losing everything, because that's what happened. That's what happens when we take someone's culture and everything away from them. And I like to compare this to what happens when a family member loses someone to incarceration. It's the same kind of intensity of just losing everything, right? And I mean, it happens to the person that's incarcerated too, but I always like to pinpoint the people who are not incarcerated, because it's easier for people to have a lack of empathy for people who are incarcerated, because they like to blame them for doing something wrong. But the family member, I mean, a child who loses their parent, for example, loses everything. Same thing happened with slavery. Lost everything when they were brought over here in chains, you know, raped, murdered, told they can't speak their language, told you can't wear you can't do this, you can't do that. you're taking away everything. So any memory that you have, it's gone, right? Anything that you do that's special with your family, gone. So um, I think it's a really uh, depressing activity, but also enlightening. um, and I think it's important, and I think it's important, and I think activities like this definitely should be done with our youth, so that they can try to find some way to empathize with that. Because just reading it in a book and just talking about it, that's all fine and dandy, but really like owning that, right? That loss, like owning that for a minute. Because, and then realizing that you have a privilege to walk away from this. But other people don't have that privilege. Like every day I wake up and this is who I am. Every day I wake up with the reality of this. It's not going anywhere. I can't go on a vacation. I can't get back, the whole sadness, the thing about understanding understanding that and having that empathy with that exercise is so important, um, because that loss that people experience, because really what it is it's really sad for a lot of people like myself, because we only know a little bit. Like, I don't even know that much about the tribe that my family is affiliated with. Like, I only know little. Like, I know the history because, and my mother, her family has been looking into it a little bit more, but it's like we don't know everything, because it was taken from us. So it's like we don't have that privilege that a lot of people who migrated to this country have. So I think it's really important that we talk about that, because, and it's not to make it, and again, this is nobody's fault, right? This isn't something that, it's not like some kind of blaming game that I'm doing right now. This is just, let's talk about this, because I really think these conversations are important to have. I'm not angry, I'm not mad, I'm not trying to be depressing, I'm not trying to be negative either, because I think that these are things that have been thrown at me, even from people within my community, that, why are you being this way? I'm not being anyway. I'm just trying to have a conversation about the reality. And I know the reality, it sucks. No one, something really interesting that the group said yesterday was like, nobody wants to be the bad guy here. No one wants to be the bad guy, and I don't even think this is about anybody being the bad guy. I think that this is about us saying, this is what happened in the past. It's important for us to talk about what happened in the past. But now what's really important is, what are we going to do now, right? It's like, what do we do with this knowledge that we know happened and the lies that we're told in between it? It's not about pointing fingers at anybody anymore. I mean, too many people have died, too many people have been hurt. It's just, what do we do now to heal and get better? Because, we're sick, right? We have COVID. We have a lot of mental health problems going on, and we're not well. So there's a lot of healing that needs to happen here, and if we don't address where we came from and acknowledge that without having like some kind of hurt feeling, like talking just like I am right now, calmly about what happened. I mean, I actually like having conversations about this. There's no anger in me. I don't have an anger bone in my body. I'm not depressed about this. This is who I am. This is my life. I can't wake up and be a different person tomorrow. I have to talk about this. This is just what it is. So, I think for Thanksgiving, I think it's important that we still have Thanksgiving. Um, some people might differ with their opinion on this, but because it's not really this happy story that we tell our kids in school, you know, it's similar to a lot of other holidays that we have here in this country. It's not really a good representation of happiness, but I think that being thankful for things, I don't think there's anything wrong with being thankful for the things that we have, and thankful for our family, and thankful for, you know, happiness or whatever. But I, I also think that taking that time, and this is very similar to what I think about Columbus Day. I think taking that time and recognizing and actually paying some kind of respect to the suffrage and the people who have lost their lives here, and um, honoring those people, I think that is important to do on Thanksgiving Day. So I think not just eating a turkey and being thankful, but also paying some respect for the people who were murdered, who died from diseases, who were enslaved, who lost their whole entire culture, who were almost wiped out, basically, right? Just wiped out. Group is the fact that we are looking at a genocide. This is, and I know, and I'll say this right now because I know some people, you know, get upset when I say things like this. It's like, well, why are you saying that, you know, it's a genocide? Well, why are you trying to compare this to other people who died in a genocide? Because my people are dying, and it's a genocide. It's a genocide. It's just a different kind of genocide because it's happening slowly throughout time. But we are definitely, without a doubt, dying. We're dying from diseases still. We're dying. We're not getting equal access to health care. We're not getting, we're being incarcerated at a high rate. We have a lot of single households. Why? Because we have a lot of men who are being murdered. We have women who are being murdered as well, right in front of us in broad daylight with cameras running now, because we're in the year 2020. This has been happening for years, but now we have videos to record it. We have all of this. Systemic racism kills people. And I'll attach the video again of the archaeologist who talked about this, because one of the things she said was that it like hurts everyone. It just kills some of us slower rate. So, I mean, this really, if you don't have a healthy community, you don't want some people to be healthy and then other people to not be healthy. So, you know, again, just being thankful for Thanksgiving Day, no problem. You know, do some virtual Zoom calls or whatever with your family. Say hey, and be safe. Be mindful of what's happening. That everybody is safe. I hope you're well. Stay safe. Stay well. And I hope that peace and love is upon you. And I hope that you have a really happy Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you enjoy your meal if you choose to decide to celebrate it. And I hope that you have some kind of moments of silence. And I mean moments, because there's just not enough moments in the day to represent everyone who died, because we don't even know how many people died in our genocide so far and how many more are going to go. So in other genocides we have numbers, but we just don't with slavery and what happened to Native Americans in this country. So please try to honor that and stay safe. Thank you. Bye.